I do think the passion for sports has waned and faded. I see it in myself. I don't like or respect the athletes the way that I used to. And it's never that I used to think these guys were the smartest guys on the planet, but I also didn't think they were the dumbest guys on the planet or the easiest to control or totally controlled by groupthink and social media. I didn't think they were frauds and phonies who were just willing to say and do anything to stay in the good graces of social media and the elite overlords. And that's what I think now.
I'm Dave Rubin, and joining me today is a sports analyst, a culture critic, and host of the fairly new show, Fearless, on Blaze TV, Jason Whitlock. Welcome to round 2 on the Rubin Report.
I thought this was round 3, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, your interviews are so long, they just feel like 2 rounds.
Oh, he's starting in with a hook. I'm pretty sure this is round 2. I think it's round 2.
All right, well, I got another hook shot.
You're the sports guy. You guys love stats. You guys love stats, you sports people.
Let me throw another jab before you get started. I just want everybody to know, watching at home, a month ago or 3 weeks ago, I asked Dave to come on my show to consent to an interview. Dave puts me off. Oh, I'm on vacation. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And somehow I end up on Dave's show before he comes on my show. Dave doesn't say anything about, I'll return the favor or anything like that. It's just Dave being Dave, well, I guess. So here I am.
I just wanted to get through this one, make sure it works out okay. We're off to a good start, and then I'll gladly swing by over there.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to talk about the stuff I want to talk with you about. I'm probably going to talk about it to now. It'll be over. We'll just run a replay of this interview on my show. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm going to shut up and listen to you. It's your show.
Yeah, I know. I have a feeling we'll find some other things to talk about. But there's actually a ton I want to talk to you about, because when I had you on, and I'm pretty sure it's only been once, but when I had you on in studio in LA a couple years back, it's probably a good 3 years ago already. I mean, time flies, especially these days. It sort of felt like sports was in the midst of this weird meltdown, but it didn't feel like it had fully melted down, and the racialization of everything, and the gender, and football is gay, and all of the stuff that is out there now. So I guess my first question really is, what's your general take on what has happened to sports in general in the last couple of years? I think I told you that I don't watch anything anymore. I do not watch professional sports anymore. That's very sad to me. I just can't take it anymore.
Dave, I just had this discussion on my show on Wednesday because the NFL right now is bragging about, hey, week 1 ratings were up 7% over a year ago, and the NFL is back, and look at the TV ratings. And what I'm arguing is, like, the NFL in particular is America's comfort food. And America is in desperate need of comfort right now because of COVID and because of the racial meltdown we've had. We're looking for anything that reminds us of the way things used to be. And so I think the initial kind of rush back to sports and football and filling up stadiums and let's have fun, I think that's what's happening. People are looking, they want some nostalgia, they want some comfort. I do think, and I argued this on Wednesday, and Uncle Jimmy and the guest we had on, Dennis Evans, they both pushed back against me, but I do think the passion for sports has waned and faded. I see it in myself. I don't like or respect the athletes the way that I used to. And it's never that I used to think these guys were the smartest guys on the planet, but I also didn't think they were the dumbest guys on the planet or the easiest to control or totally controlled by groupthink and social media. I didn't think they were frauds and phonies who were just willing to say and do anything to stay in the good graces of social media and the elite overlords. And that's what I think now. So I still watch the sports. I don't feel as good about the athletes. And eventually, and I made this analogy, it's like the old B.B. King song, "The Thrill Is Gone." And sometimes when you're ending a relationship, you go through this part where you're not quite separated, you're still living in the same house, you're still going through the motions, but everybody knows it's over. And that's kind of how I feel about professional sports. I still watch, I still somewhat, I love them, I love the games, but the passion for the athletes just isn't the same as it used to be. And eventually, I'll just spend less and less time with sports.
On a personal note, how much does that suck for you? I mean, not only is this your job, I mean, you got into this stuff because you love it. I mean, I was never a sports analyst, but I grew up watching the same games you were watching, like loving that stuff. And it kind of sucks. It kind of, when I'm flipping on YouTube and I'm watching old NBA games when it wasn't political, and then they show me a new one, I'm just like, no, I just don't want to do it. And it kind of sucks.
No, it sucks big time, Dave, because for someone like me, who there's two things that have shaped my worldview. The church, my grandmother and mother raised me in, and football and playing sports. Because in high school I played track and field, played a little basketball, intramural or whatever, played football. I was into sports, and the values taught in sports and the values taught in my church, there was great synergy and alignment between them. I'm looking at sports betray all of those values, and it irritates the heck out of me. It bothers me immensely. And so this sucks to see something this central to your core beliefs completely pivot and give in to Marxism and, uh, you know, authoritarian, everybody must get the vax or you face these harsh penalties. I just don't like any of it. And yeah, it just, and it sucks big time.
So the newest thing, speaking of the vax, in the last couple days now, the NBA has reached a deal somehow, even though they have over 100 employees, that the players will not have to be vaccinated. I don't understand how that makes any sense. I'm not for mandating vaxes, just so you know that. But they've gotten this exemption, but it appears that the people who go to the games will have to be vaccinated. Now, I'm fairly certain NBA players might sweat on each other, spit on each other. Do they have some sort of protections we don't know about?
They don't. This sounds similar to what the NFL. You don't have to be vaccinated in the NFL, but you do face all these different set of rules that the vaccinated players don't face. That sounds like what the NBA is going to do. It's stupid. It makes no sense. It's no different than last year when no one was vaccinated. They're all in an arena. The coach is wearing a mask for no reason. He pulls it down every time he wants to really be heard and say anything important. And it was the masquerade theater that we've been seeing for the past 18 months, and they were doing it in the NBA. So a guy has to sit in a different place in the locker room, maybe he has to fly somewhere differently on a plane. But when you get out on the court, sweat and bump into each other and slap high five and sit next to each other on the bench, sweaty as you want to be, that's all fine. But when we go in this locker room, go sit over here because you're not vaccinated. It's just stupid.
And I'm pretty sure you've heard the same crazy rumors that I've heard about when the NBA was in the bubble, right? It was called the bubble, about all of the girls that were getting smuggled into the bubble. Like, it's not like these people did not live. And I'm pretty sure it didn't become a COVID super spreader event.
Dave, and I hope I'm not cracking an inappropriate joke. I can't, but
That's all right.
I'm not
This
sure if
YouTube.
you're
You're all
aware.
right.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but I've talked to Dr. Fauci about this personally. But the COVID virus cannot live inside of a vagina. So when the women were coming into the bubble, and their vagina is completely pure and bacteria free, COVID free, and so that was perfectly understandable and safe, Dave.
I'm just going to make note of that. COVID cannot live in the vagina. Okay. Well, we got our promo out of you, Whitlock. If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about the media instead of nonstop yelling, check out our media playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out the full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.